with the Conspiracy Theory Show, contact info, contact for True TV, some of the places people can interface with you and send you information.
Yeah, they can. You can definitely send mail to True TV, which is at 600 3rd Avenue, New York 10016. I check on the Conspiracy Theory Jesse Ventura at Facebook.com. Go on there and post things on there. I definitely read all the talkback stuff in there. Go onto the True TV website right through there, and then just voice your opinion and be heard.
Okay, shifting gears.
I can't take friend requests from everybody, though. So if you're on Facebook, and that's my private page. Don't send me all the friend requests.
I know it's a deluge. Shifting gears. I have congressmen on. I have political analysts on every week. I have top reporters on, people that really understand politics, the political landscape. The Republicans have no credibility. The Democrats have no credibility. No matter who we put into office, governments get bigger, the wars get bigger, our freedoms get attacked, the banks are looting us. The Democrats and Republicans in all the major polls don't want the government takeover of health care. They found out it's not free health care, no such animal. It's a boondoggle to the insurance companies. Even Howard Dean, head of the Democratic Party, is saying that. So people are really angry, and every time I talk to political strategists, they see no one out there with the name recognition or who has the dark horse history and the populist backing to run for president, except for Ron Paul and Jesse Ventura. And some people say Ron Paul, almost 75, will be 77 if he got elected, and that's too old. I think he's in great shape, jogs every day, exercises. I don't think that's the case. I love Ron Paul. I support him. I know Governor Ventura is really waking up, truly, just gets better and better like fine wine as he politically grows. He's a real guy. He keeps his word. He doesn't want special interest. He can't be bought off. The media is demonizing him for that. He was against the war right when it first happened, when many others were for it and then later said they were against it. He's been right on so many issues. I disagree with him on a few, but, everybody disagrees with each other. Nobody agrees 100%. But all these experts, and myself included, think that, and I know he wants to have his own life. He said, Alex, when you get the age I am, that time becomes the most valuable thing, not money, not fame, not even, he said, I just want to do the right thing. I'm torn between being politically involved with all the nastiness and having to be around all the crooks in Washington. If I do it, I would purely do it if the people are ready and want a true revolution back to the Constitution. These are the private discussions we've had. We've had some on air. Can you tell us as much as you can about what your dad's really thinking, what he's doing? He's got to know that he's being looked at to run for president and that he's needed. Tyrell Ventura.
He does know that, and he does, hear the people out there. There's numerous websites and things, asking, Jesse, you run in 2012, and we need you, and that kind of thing. And I can tell you this: my father's a big believer in fate, and if fate opens its door and says, looks like, and puts him in a position where he's going to run for president, he might. But ultimately, I don't think that's on his mind right now. He's not shown me anything behind closed doors that said that he has his sights set on the presidency. If anything, he wants to surf more and continue to work on the television show. But, it's a strange, funny world we live in, and you never know what can happen. But as of right now, no, he doesn't have any political ambitions right now, except for just waking people up and continuing to be a voice of independence and a voice of revolution.
Well, that's what he's told me, and people always ask me to run for office. And the reason I've said I will probably never do it is that I can be pure here. Nobody's telling me what to say. I can do whatever I want. I can tell the truth. I can feel good when I go to bed at night. And politics itself is inherently corrupting. Inherently is about compromise. And your dad knows he can write books. He can do TV and radio interviews. He can have a hit TV show telling the truth, trailblazing, and that and that he wants to be from the grassroots part of the revolution against tyranny with the people as a foot soldier, as a commando, as a Navy SEAL. That's what he sees as that front line general out there, on the front lines in the fight.
You know what it is, Alex, is that one of the greatest experiences he ever had in his life was teaching political science at Harvard. When they had him come out there for a semester at Harvard and was able to teach all these young kids about third-party politics and about 9/11 and about JFK and things like that. And he was able to really, those are the people that are going to change the world. And I think my dad's kind of getting to a point in his life now where he would rather inspire the person who is going to change the world rather than change the world. He's taken it as, pretty far now and has gone, from governor and everything else. But, I think, as he gets up there, he wants to surf more. He kind of wants to pass the reins on. So, hopefully, there's someone out there who will have that courage and will have that third-party know-how to, take this country back for us. And but it starts with all of us. It doesn't take one person. You can't put your faith on just one person.
Tyrell, I want to hold you 5 minutes in the next hour if you can. So we have two short segments to be able to take calls. You can do that, can't you?
Of course.
Okay, great. We're going to come back and go to Noel, Mark, Rose, Ron, Tim, and others for Tyrell Ventura, specifically on the show, or Jesse Ventura, or on Tyrell. But I just want to say this here as we go to break. Studying the Founding Fathers. They weren't perfect. They were men, but they had good hearts, and they were intelligent, and they truly wanted liberty. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, those are icons. Those are my idols. And really getting to know your dad and studying now, in hindsight, what he's done in his life, and knowing that he doesn't want to be president. He doesn't want the power. He doesn't want to have the attention and be at all the big dinners. He just wants freedom. That's just like George Washington, who turned in his command. They wanted him to be king. He said no. And then they basically drafted him to run for president. And all he wanted to do was get back to Mount Vernon. He wanted to leave New York and go back to where Washington, D.C. is today, his farm. And so that's exactly why we need your dad to run for president, because I've genuinely looked into his eyes. He doesn't want to do it because he doesn't want to be around all that corrupt slime. And he just wants to be a common person. But then he wants to run because he knows he wants to put real issues out. Imagine all these scumbag politicians. They would kill their children to be president, and that's why we don't want them to be president. Ron Paul doesn't want to run for president. I've talked to him privately. He wants to, but he fights tirelessly because of duty. Your dad doesn't want to be president, but he does want to stop the New World Order.
Yes, of course. Completely. You couldn't have said it best. Couldn't have said it any better. That's, he just wants to continue his fight and to open people's minds up and to get people thinking of third party. Don't fall into the left or the right. Be your own person. Be an independent thinker. Study the Founding Fathers. Learn what they created here in this great, great country we have. And then don't let it fall into the hands of the ruthless and the corrupt.
Well, your dad really does, with all of his colorful history and all the great things he's done as a trailblazer, the fact that he doesn't want power, the fact that he just wants to be on a lonely seashore by himself reading books, that's why he needs to be president, or somebody like Ron Paul, instead of Sarah Palin and the Democrats and all these painted trollops and trumpets who want power. That's the people we don't want in government.
A revolution in smoking is underway. A revolution all smokers of traditional cigarettes should know about. Keep listening for a special offer from PowerVapor.com. Standard tobacco cigarettes contain over 4,000 harmful chemicals. Now it's time to release yourself from the grip of big tobacco and experience true smoking freedom. PowerVapor.com is an e-cigarette with the look, feel, and smoke of a real cigarette, but with no tar, no carbon monoxide, and no bad odors. Power Vapor's e-cigarettes deliver just the right amount of nicotine in a water vapor that looks and feels like real smoke. Yes, you choose from 4 levels of nicotine, and that puts you back in control. Plus, you'll enjoy 8 flavors and big savings over traditional cigarettes. Get the facts and see our demonstration video at PowerVapor.com. That's PowerVapor.com. Log on to PowerVapor.com right now for a special 10% discount and 30-day money-back guarantee. PowerVapor.com. The smoking gun heard round the world.
Hundreds of nations have fallen to tyranny in the last century alone. This is our last chance to not relive history.
As we're finishing off this agenda, they'll be pulling the rug from underneath Americans at home.
They have tremendous influence on our president and Congress, and they really are calling the shots.
I think it's incumbent upon all of us as American citizens to pay attention.
Fall of the Republic identifies the enemies of our nation, the criminal offshore cartel, hell-bent on destroying sovereignty and on its ashes constructing world government.
Tim Geithner, Bernanke, they're arsonists. They're asking for more matches. And the Congress is saying, who do we make the check out to?
Today, it seems like nobody does care. And right now in Washington, D.C., we have seen a fall of the Republic.
Get your copy of Fall of the Republic on DVD at Infowars.com or watch it online right now in super high quality at PrisonPlanet.tv.
You may be new to freeze-dried foods. You may have storable food questions. You may want to buy your freeze-dried foods from a very reputable company and not go broke in the process. Welcome to the Freeze-Dry Guy. Okay, actually, we're more than just one guy. We're a California-based company that's been serving our U.S. military and other government agencies with the finest in freeze-dried storable foods and emergency rations since 1970.